All right, hey, welcome to day 2 of the quadratic formula and the discriminant. Okay, so today we're really focusing on the discriminant part of that. Okay, so what you need to know is the discriminant is the part inside the radical, so that b squared minus 4ac. And remember, that's from the quadratic formula, which was x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so just looking at that, the inside of that, b squared minus 4ac, that's the discriminant. Okay, it helps us determine a few things about the graph and the number of solutions of our quadratic equation. So, if the discriminant, okay, so if the discriminant is positive, it tells us that there are 2 real solutions. Okay, which we kind of saw in class. That's exactly what we are doing. 2 solutions. So this graph would kind of look like this, okay? Kind of what we have seen before, where it kind of goes, ooh, there's our U. Or, I mean, of course, it could go downwards. It could look something like that. But just knowing that it crosses the x-axis 2 times. If the discriminant is 0, then there is 1 real solution. All right, so 1 real solution that looks like that. Oh, no. So it just comes down and hits this, at 1 spot. There we go. So it touches the x-axis in 1 place. Okay, just one of those. That's what it potentially looks like. And if the discriminant is negative, then there are no real solutions. Sorry. Or 2, we'd say 2, no real solutions. Which we saw today in class, and I talked about how those would look kind of like this or like that, so they're just not crossing the x-axis at all. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples of how we use this. All right, so here's a problem. Negative 9 x squared plus 8x minus 8 equals 0. All right, so the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, remember, here's our a, here's our b, here's our c. So we're just plugging in and finding out what the value of the discriminant is for this problem. So for this problem, we've got b squared, 8 squared, minus 4a, a is negative 9, times c, which is negative 8. And we're just figuring out what this is. So you can use your calculator. You could plug all of this into your calculator as long as you're careful with your parentheses. But otherwise you have 64 minus, okay, 4 times 9 times 8. So that's 288, so we've got minus 288. Okay, so 64 minus 288 is negative 224. Okay, so if we look back at our notes, we see that when the discriminant is negative, there's no real solution. So that's what we put here, no real solution. Okay. All right, let's look at another one. Negative x squared minus 6x minus 9 equals 0. Okay, so again, identifying our A, our B, and our C. All right, so B squared, negative 6 squared minus 4AC, negative 1, times C, negative 9. All right, so simplify. Negative 6 squared is 36 minus 4 times negative 1 times that's 36. Oh. Well, that's 0. So that tells us, remember when it's 0, that there's one real solution. So in other words, it crosses the graph just at one point, or it just touches the x-axis at one place. Okay, one more. Negative x squared plus 2x, sorry, that's a plus sign. Ooh, that's even worse. Plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. All right, so same process. Here's our A, here's our B, here's our C. All right, so plug this in. B squared minus 4 times A times C. So that's 4 minus negative 4. So that's like 4 plus 4. That's 8. Okay, so if it's positive, that means there's two real solutions. Okay, so we saw one of each kind of these. Here's what I want you to do, okay? All I want you to do tonight is to take this equation, and I'll put it on the next one, and actually solve for those values, okay? I want you to solve that. So take that and actually solve it using the quadratic equation. So take x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Here's the thing, you already know b squared minus 4ac is 8. Okay, so you already know that thing under the radical is 8. You just have to plug everything else in and simplify. Okay, bring that to class, bring any questions, and make sure you summarize and have a super duper evening.